Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today we're looking at Nuvve.
As usual, before we start, subscribe, like, and comment to this video to support the show. And if there's a specific company you want us to look into, leave it in the comments below.
So let's get into the analysis. With Nuvve, we're looking at a major player in V2G, that's vehicle-to-grid technology. And right now, they are in a real pressure cooker situation.
Yeah, pressure cooker. How so?
Well, you have these two totally distinct narratives emerging. On one hand, you have urgent capital risk. And on the other, you have this story of significant operational improvement. It's a real clash.
Okay, let's start with the urgency then, the risk. What is driving this immediate pressure on Nuvve?
It all boils down to liquidity. The Q3 2025 filing showed the company was holding only, get this, $0.94 million in cash as of September 30th.
Wait, less than $1 million?
Less than $1 million.
Yeah.
And you have to weigh that against their total liabilities, which are sitting near $12.94 million.
That's a huge gap, a massive funding gap.
Exactly. And if you look at their Q3 operational metrics, you can see why. Total revenue was about $1.60 million, which was actually a year-over-year decrease.
Not what you want to see.
No. And at the same time, they had an operating loss of $5.11 million. So, the cash burn's huge.
And I'm guessing that financial strain is directly connected to the regulatory pressure they're facing?
You got it. The lack of liquidity, the stock price, it all led to a Nasdaq delisting notice back in September.
Because they were trading below that $1 minimum for 30 days straight, right?
That's the one. They did get an extension, which is good, but the absolute hard deadline to regain compliance is looming.
And when is that deadline?
December 31st, 2025.
Wow. So they have just a few weeks to sort this out. That's a real compliance cliff.
It is. Which brings us to the crisis financing. How are they trying to solve this capital crunch?
This is where it gets painful for current shareholders, I imagine.
Very painful. In November, Nuvve initiated a few financing rounds to try and stabilize things. One was a senior convertible note and warrants for around $278,000. But the conversion price...
Let me guess, it's low.
It is incredibly low, 0.13834 such a share.
Oof. That's a huge amount of dilution baked in.
It is. But even more significant, they agreed to sell Series A convertible preferred stock. They raised $4.5 million immediately, which helps. But, and this is the crucial part, the whole deal requires stockholder approval.
And there's a special meeting for that, isn't there?
Yes, on December 29th, 2025, just 2 days before the Nasdaq deadline.
So everything hinges on that vote.
Everything. If it passes, they get the funding, but shareholders get diluted. If it fails, well, their survival as a listed company is in serious doubt.
Okay, so that's a very clear, very high-risk scenario. The bear case is right there. But you mentioned another side to this, a story of operational turnaround.
Yes, and this is the anchor for the bull case. It's why people haven't just written them off. Despite the cash issues, that same Q3 report showed a really, really promising trend. The net loss per share. It narrowed to just $0.24.
Okay, wait. What was it the year before? Because that sounds like a big drop.
It was $2.47 in Q3 of 2024. So they cut their loss per share by almost 90%.
90%? That's a massive improvement.
It's a huge signal of strong operational efficiencies and much better cost management. The business is running leaner.
So the underlying business model might actually be working. They just ran out of cash before they could prove it.
That's the bull argument in a nutshell. And it's not just cost-cutting. Let's talk about their competitive position.
Right, in the V2G space. What's their moat?
They have a strong early mover advantage. Their V2G technology is proprietary, and it's not just about charging. It's about letting EVs talk to the grid to sell power back during peak times.
So it turns a fleet of electric school buses, for example, into a giant distributed battery for the utility.
Exactly. It creates new revenue streams for the fleet owner and provides stability for the grid. That's a very specialized area.
A sustainable moat, as they say.
For sure. And we saw a major catalyst in November that sort of validated all of this.
The partnership with Socorro?
Right. The market saw that as a huge revenue accelerator. It was a big stamp of approval on Nuvve's whole business model.
Okay, so beyond that December 29th vote, what should investors be watching for in the first quarter of 2026?
The next quarter is really defined by 3 key events. First, obviously, is that December 29th stockholder meeting.
And then the compliance deadline on the 31st?
Correct. And after that, the big one is the Q4 2025 earnings release. We're expecting that around February 2026.
And the market will be looking for what exactly? Continued loss narrowing.
Yes, continued loss narrowing, and maybe, just maybe, the company's first ever quarter of positive EBITDA.
which would be a massive proof point that the turnaround is real.
A game changer. It would signal they've hit a sustainable level of efficiency.
Now, are there any rumors or market chatter that could act as unexpected catalysts here?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of speculation. First, if they don't regain compliance naturally, there's talk of a possible reverse stock split.
The last resort to save the listing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but better than being delisted. Then there's the more exciting stuff.
M&A chatter.
You bet. Strong rumors of inbound acquisition interest from, say, a larger energy management firm or an EV charging competitor.
That makes sense. They could buy that V2G tech on the cheap if Nuvve is struggling.
Exactly. And there's also speculation about another major EV infrastructure partnership, maybe contingent on that equity raise going through.
And what about car manufacturers? OEMs?
Unconfirmed hints of integration with new EV OEMs in Q1 2026. That would open up their market in a big way.
Okay, let's tie this all to the chart, the technical picture. Given the stock is trading so low, what does the analysis suggest?
Well, the technical suggests a base is formed. Support seems to be holding pretty well around the $1.25 mark.
25 cents.
But here's the wild part. Analyst forecasts show massive potential upside if these positive catalysts hit. The technical projections are targeting a range of $2.40 to $2.68 over the next 3 months.
Hold on. From 25 cents to potentially over $2.60.
It's a potential move of nearly 1,000% if the news flow is positive and they navigate these next few weeks successfully.
That is explosive potential. Are the momentum indicators flashing buy signals already?
Not yet, and that's what's interesting. The RSI is currently neutral. It's not overbought, it's not oversold. It suggests the stock is in a holding pattern, just accumulating ahead of these key Q4 events.
Waiting for the vote.
Waiting for the vote and the deadline.
So when you look at Nuvve, you have to weigh these two extremes. The acute financial risk of the December deadlines.
Against that dramatic operational improvement, that 90% loss cut, and the significant upside shown in those technical targets. It's a classic high-risk, high-reward situation.
That tension makes Nuvve a fascinating case study for volatility leading into the new year. We've definitely covered the crucial dates you need to track.
Yeah, think about this. If Nuvve successfully navigates the dilution and the Nasdaq deadline, does that partnership with Socorro give them enough runway to maintain that efficiency and hit break even faster than anyone expects? That's the core question for every investor right now.
A great point to end on. If you found this discussion valuable, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss our next analysis.